Alrighty, folks. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker, which is my good friend and classmate from Volcano Vista High School, Dasie Kent. Dasie Kent is a proud alumni of Volcano Vista High School, class of 2017. She graduated with a master's in business administration in spring 2022. Following the completion of her Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Evolutionary Anthropology from the University of New Mexico in 2021, during her time at UNM, Dasie discovered her passion for community building and service, which led her to actively contribute in various ways. She has volunteered at the Agora Crisis Center since 2019, offering support to those in need. In addition, she served as new student orientation leader for 2 consecutive summers, helping new students navigate their college journey. Dasie also founded and led the university's tabletop gaming organization in fall 2019, furthering her commitment to fostering inclusive, supportive spaces for others. Her diverse experiences reflect her dedication to making a positive impact within her community, both on and off campus. Today, she is the director of Agora Crisis Center and helps provide a vital resource to our community and state. It is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome my fellow classmate, Dasie Kent.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. That's so kind. Thank you. Um, it's nice to meet y'all, and thank you again for having me. Um, as Matthew said, I'm the director at Agora Crisis Center, and I'm here to just talk about our services and what we do, and also just answer any questions about Agora, or mental health, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, Agora Crisis Center is a warm line and crisis line, and I'll delve into what that means here in a second. But we were started in 1970 when a student on UNM campus unfortunately didn't find the mental health support that they needed and unfortunately decided to end their life. And but from that, students, staff and faculty at UNM decided to band together and say, we don't want anyone to feel like that ever again. So Agora was founded. And that was back in 1970. And we are going to celebrate our 55th anniversary later this year, which is super exciting. And funny enough, we have a lot of, we have a little binder at the center that has all our documents from 1970. And I was looking through that a few weeks ago. And honestly, the heart of Agora hasn't changed very much. We started as a crisis line staffed by volunteers, and we are still doing just that. Our goal at Agora is not to solve anyone's problems or tell them what to do or give advice. We are an active listening service that are there to be a sounding board. A lot of people call us when they're feeling lonely, or maybe they just need to vent. Sometimes people might call us with something difficult that they're going through, and they might not have anyone in their life that they feel like they can trust to talk about it with. But we do talk about anything and everything under the sun, even if someone isn't in a crisis. So people call us at any point of, I just wanted to vent, all the way to I'm in a crisis and I could use some extra support right now. As I mentioned before, we are volunteer run. So all our volunteers go through our 40 hours of training in crisis intervention, suicide intervention, and just general listening. So, whatever you call with, we're prepared for. And our hours are from 6 a.m. to midnight every day of the year, even on holidays based on volunteer availability. And let's see, the other aspect of our crisis line is that we are also happy to give information and warm handoffs. Like if you're, struggling with depression, for example, you can give us a call and talk about it. And we'll also offer resources for you, whether that's finding a therapist in your area that goes with your insurance, or finding a shelter, just finding any resource that, one less thing to think about whenever you're going through a tough time. Our other services include our suicide awareness and intervention training and our crisis intervention training. So we give free trainings to any group who will talk to us, including even presentations like this, of course. So we'll talk about it's usually an hour-long presentation. We'll come in and talk about how to support a friend or a coworker or a client in crisis, and how to just be an active listener. And I think that's one of the most um, underestimated skills, really, is being a good listener. Oftentimes whenever we want to talk about our problems, it's not so much that we want a solution, just a listening ear. So yeah, that's a little bit about Agora. And I'm gonna put our number in the chat. It's 505-277-3013. Our services, including the lessons and the crisis line, are free, and our crisis line is confidential, non-judgmental, and we really try to foster that warm environment at Agora. And it's important now more than ever, because actually New Mexico is consistently in the top 5 states in the country with the highest suicide rates. And so really, especially in New Mexico, we need extra support, and Agora wants to be one of those extra lines of support for people in that capacity. So yeah, I also wanted to take some time to open up to you all and see if there's any questions about Agora or what we do. Yeah.
All right, guys. So if anybody has any questions for our guest speaker here, you're free to go ahead and unmute your microphones, of course, one at a time, please. And feel free to ask anything that's on your mind, stuff you want to know about what they do, or anything she can answer for you guys about Agora Crisis Center. Does anybody have any questions? No, I'll go ahead and start there. So, Daisy, let me ask you this. So, of course, I've known you since high school, obviously, and you've done a lot of excellent work in the community. What is the most rewarding thing that you would say of providing such an essential service? What is so rewarding to you about doing this for our community?
Oh, thank you. That's such a good question. I'm gonna answer that in two parts. I would say, um, as a um as a manager of Agora, and as right now we're in training, so we're training a whole cohort of new volunteers, and this spring we actually have about 30 people in our training class, which is super exciting. I would say that what's really satisfying is seeing the beginning of training, seeing our new volunteers maybe coming in nervous or unsure about what to expect. And then seeing them through the training process and seeing their confidence build and seeing them grow just in the couple weeks of training, 4 weeks of training, is so satisfying. And hearing the feedback that they enjoy being at Agora. Like, a lot of people imagine Agora to be kind of very um they imagine their time at Agora would be very stressful, and seeing that it's not always that way at Agora is really nice and really satisfying. And it gives them that confidence, because a lot of them move into mental health fields in their career right after. So a lot of them are undergrads in psychology, thinking about counseling, and then by the time they're done with Agora, they often reflect that it really helped them. And I think that really warms my heart. And then just from the time I was on the phones at Agora, kind of in a similar vein, it's so, so nice to hear a phone call where maybe someone was feeling sad or dejected in the beginning of the call, and to build that rapport throughout, even if it's a 20-30 minute call. Hearing the difference from the beginning to the end of the call is just so very fulfilling.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
you said that there's a lot of people who go into mental health field after your class. Do you require that they be pursuing that
Yeah,
pursuing
great.
that?
That's a great question, and a really common one too. Because yeah, most of our volunteers are UNM students who are studying psych, but that's not a requirement at all. It just kind of tends to be who often likes to volunteer, but you don't have to be affiliated with UNM or have a goal of being in the mental health field later on. We have plenty of volunteers who come just on their free time to connect with our callers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions for Dasie?
Well, thank you so much again for having me. And I'm going to put our website here in the chat as well. Our website's agoracares.org, and you can learn more about our services or request those trainings that I mentioned. Or even there's a, I believe there's a
Matthew,
page.
Yes, sir, Mark. You have a
I-
question?
yes, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Mark.
Okay, because UNM is a great college because my niece went there and she graduated medical school there, and now she in term, doing getting paid, being a surgeon, and so I don't know if that is something you could use or not. Hello.
Yes.
I didn't catch the last part.
Go ahead, Mark.
I-
Repeat it.
Sorry. My niece is now a doctor, regular surgeon. She's getting paid now because she had two, whatever they call that, for 5 or 6, 7 years or whatever. But something like that is needed in your field.
Oh, like a degree?
Yeah.
Oh, great question. No, so to be a volunteer or involved with Agora, you don't need a degree. You don't even need experience. We have an application process, and interview process, but there's no credentials needed to volunteer at Agora.
Right.
About how many volunteers do you have now?
We have about, I want to say 80 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that because we have a small little center. It's like 3 rooms, 2 of them being call rooms, and so our center feels small and cozy, but we have a lot of awesome volunteers that come in throughout the week, so about 80-ish.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and I just saw this because you said you guys offer these trainings for stuff like that. So if our club per se wanted to invite you guys to come do a training with our club, would you guys be able to perform such a task?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'd be happy to.
Awesome. Well, guys, it sounds like we're going to have to get something going there because I think this would be a wonderful training for all interested members. And who knows, I could probably get our Albuquerque clubs because we have 3 or 4 at least in the Albuquerque metro area. Our club is out of the city of Rio Rancho, so I'm pretty sure I could get all of us together, and I think it would be a great benefit.
That would be so awesome. And, we will talk to anyone about, crisis intervention, suicide intervention. We also have a self-care workshop too. It's a lot shorter, but yeah, we'd be happy to connect about doing training with you all.
Matthew, I had
Yes,
another
sir.
question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Now you volunteered, okay. But people with learning disability like me, is a special thing you do for them? Like people with learning disabilities and want to volunteer? It's how you do all of that?
Oh, sorry, I caught bits and pieces of my hearing is just really bad. Did I hear something about
Okay.
mhm.
Disability, I have disability. I say people like me, a disability, that want to volunteer, how you do on that part?
Yeah, oh, that's a great question. Yeah, we have a lot of different ways to be involved. Our main way is the crisis line, but we also have a lot of outreach in the community as well. So like if you ever go out to like those forum events or tabling events, there's a lot of different ways to be involved, including representing Agora at those different spaces. So we try our best to be kind of like what you were saying in the mission statement is inclusive of all abilities. So there's a bunch of different ways to be involved for sure. Did that answer your question?
That does.
Awesome.
Anything
worm-
a friend of Matthew is a friend of mine.
That's so kind. I love that.
And that warms my heart to know that you guys also share the same value of inclusiveness, because really our main focus is to work with people that have IDD. So IDD, intellectual developmental disabilities, right? So that's nice to know. And it sounds like we're going to have to do a lot more connecting with you guys, because man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, because I was like, okay, everyone knows Agora as a crisis line. You call them if you need support, but that's awesome to know that you guys are that supportive with our community, because we need more of that in this world. And I know you agree with me on that 100%.
Absolutely.
And Matthew, another thing, maybe she could come back, like when we meet in my house, and we get a good stand and put that down. This is very important, and she's gonna be here this date of the month, whenever.
Sure, we could work on something like that, some form of workshop. Sure. That we could, of course, we'll coordinate with her schedule and help get
Yeah.
everything set up. Thank you, Mark, for that idea. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything else for Dasie here? Cody, anything from you, my friend?
No, but this is a good meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Cody.
You're welcome, Matthew.
All right. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for your wonderful questions. And Dasie, thank you for coming to our meeting. So I thought I'd pop this on the screen real quick. Of course, you put that in the chat for us, but I wanted to bring this on screen. This is their phone number. This is their website, and you guys can reach out to them. Again, if you find yourself in need of their services they provide to the community, you need to talk to someone, Dasie and her wonderful team at Agora are there to help you and take care of you. So please remember, if you need help, save that number in your phone. It's there. They are there to help you. So thank you again, Dasie, for being part of today's guest speaker engagement. You're welcome to stay for the duration of the meeting, or if you have to go, I get it. You're a busy lady. We appreciate you very, very much, and I'll be in touch with you. Thank you again.
Thank you again for having me. And I'll probably have to hop off here, but yeah, I would love to we'll email and figure out the next thing. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank